Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. I appreciate you guys coming out. I really do. It's hard to match that energy with words. Where should we start? You ever have one of those weeks where you know nothing's gonna go right? You know what I mean? Like, do you guys understand? Like, every part of this week for me, Monday, I get a phone call from this woman, and it's 6 in the morning, and she goes, "Is Vanessa there?" I said, "No, I think you have the wrong number." And she goes, "Are you sure?" I was like, "You're right, this is Vanessa, you know?" And then I get up, and I'm feeling bad about my life, you know, and I walk into a Starbucks, and the dude gets my drink order wrong, which is fine, but he had this attitude, you know, and I said, "That's the wrong drink." And the guy goes, "Sorry, dude, I'm tired." And I was like, "Have a fucking coffee, man." You know, that's why I'm here. You're sitting on 300 gallons of that shit back there. Sip some of it, man. Have a coffee. And then the guy goes, "What did you get?" And I said, "A medium coffee." He said, "That's a grande." Before you came around, it was a medium. And then the guy goes, "It's grande now." And I was like, "Now it's become a fucking issue, man. The only way I'm using the word grande is if a Mexican pimp walks through this door and asks me what kind of titties I like. Then give me the goddamn coffee." And then I walk outside, and this is what did it. Somebody vandalized my bike seat. What's your name in the back? What's your name in the back, sir? Somebody cut my bike seat. Think about that. What level of misery must you have experienced as a kid to see my 10-speed tied to a pole, pull out a blade, and be like, "Look at this rich motherfucker right here." You know, like I control the banks because I own a Huffy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the guy you want to get back at. The banks. This whole week, man. And you know, and speaking of the economy, it's like, you ever open the paper and be like, what the fuck is going on in the world? Do you get, I opened the paper and I saw this, you know, like some CEO got $15 million left and the company lost $20 billion. And I was like, don't you wish the rest of life worked like that? You know, you fuck up, get rewarded for it. Cops pull you over doing 80 and 35. He gives you a ticket, but it's not a ticket. It's just a coupon to Starbucks. He's like, "You got to try these lattes. They're tremendous." I stopped by my wife's house after 8. We're swingers. I'm not home till 9. This woman can't get enough. Take that pistol with you. Look. And you wonder what's going on with the world. Like, you see these companies going out of business, and you wonder how much of it is the result of inefficient decisions, you know? It's like, I'm on a flight coming here, 3 hours late. 3 hours late, I'm in the airport, night flight. And they apologized to us. This is why companies go out of business. They apologized to us by giving me a dinner voucher. And they said, "Here, we're sorry. Here's a dinner voucher." It was for $6, Adam. $6 dinner voucher. I was like, "You want me to find dinner in an airport for $6? Why not give me a mint and a newspaper and be like, get the fuck out of here, man?" And then I get on the flight. At 4 a.m. is snack time, right? This is another genius decision from the top of management, right? 4 a.m. is snack time. I'm sitting there trying to go to sleep. I'm almost sleeping. And she wakes me up and says, "Sir, would you like a mini croissant?" Yeah. Why would I want bread right now? Woman, how'd you like I walk into your room in the middle of the night, shake you awake, be like, "Lady, get up, this is a buttered roll. You see it? Come here. Get up and eat your roll, girl." You're gonna get up in the morning and be terribly depressed. You see that roll sitting next to you knowing you didn't eat it. Get up and eat your roll. And then the pilot never shut up the whole time. The pilot is literally just talking because he got to be up anyway. He's working, you know? And he's talking, and the pilot and this guy's just entertaining himself. This is why companies go out. If the guy goes, "There's your pilot, everybody." He goes, "If you look to your left, it's Arizona, but it's dark out." And then he just started with logistical information. The guy wouldn't shut up. He literally goes, hey, everybody, it's your captain again. We're flying at 37,000 feet. I was like, what the fuck are you telling me for? Like, I'm gonna stand up and go, this is a little high, Captain. You gotta lower this bird. Are you out of your goddamn mind? I just saw a cloud above what you claim as Arizona. Why not say other random shit if you're bored up front, man? You know, this is your captain, everybody. There's a lot of switches in here, man. I haven't seen my kids in a month and a half. What the hell did I take this gig for in the first place? You know, the economy. The economy, people are having a tough time. Just don't use it as an excuse if you're not having a tough time. I had this 16-year-old face-tattooed little motherfucker ask me for $1. And he goes, what with the economy and all? I was like, really? Was it the derivatives desk at Merrill Lynch that shut down is now preventing you from ascending to the top of the management period, you 16-year-old motherfucker? Does the economy make it hard to do this on your board, man? Was that the economy did that to you? I hope, man, I hope something changes. You know, we got a black president now. We got a black president. I realized I just said that like I was black. We got a black, yeah! We got a black president. I hope something fucking changes, man. You know, like, but the funny thing about Barack, I'm really surprised that Barack didn't get even more votes than he did. You know what I mean? He didn't win by that much. I really think it's because of hip-hop. You know what I mean? People associate hip-hop. You know, when you think hip-hop, you think of that fucking rah-rah, you think of this shit here when you think of hip-hop. And there were still a lot of people out there who, on a subconsciously racist level, didn't believe that Barack was who he says he was, as if he'd been faking it for 48 years, you know? As if he was gonna show up on the White House lawn, Inauguration Day, fireworks, the whole world's watching, and then that Harvard veneer just drifts away, and he looks in the camera, and smiles, and you see a row of gold teeth, and he's like, you know, and then a joint materialized out of thin air, and he's like, psych, motherfucker! And he'd take his head off, and it's Flavor Flav underneath, you know? Like, oh, President Flav. If you want a shot at getting elected, you gotta lie in order to satisfy enough people that would be turned off by an actual individual opinion. Barack said, you hear what he said before he was elected? He goes, I'm gonna go through the national budget line by line, and I'm gonna cut out everything we don't need. Did you see the inauguration? You guys see that? They flew out his high school marching band from Hawaii. Maybe it's me, but shouldn't 30 Hawaiian tuba players be somewhere near the top of the shit we don't need column in the national budget? And then the whole thing works, man. You ever really look at the system? You know, I mean, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you look at what goes on. These guys are senators, right? Barack was a senator, McCain was a senator, Hillary was a senator, and all of them ran for office full-time for over 2 years. We elected them to go work in the Senate. They're picking up a check, they have office space, but nobody showed up at work for 2 years because they were looking for another job in basically the same business. Does anybody else find this offensive? Anybody here have a job? Anybody have a job? You work at Subway, and one day you're making a sandwich, and then you're like, you know, hey, boss, you see this sandwich? Fuck it. I want my checks on time. I want my locker where it's at, but I'm gonna be gone for a little while. Because I'm looking for a job up the street at Quiznos. May take me 2.5 years, I'll let you know. Keep my plastic gloves ready. You know, the whole idea. Thank you. You guys are sweet. But, you know, and then what was the knock against Barack anyway? Everybody said, he's smooth, but does he have substance? Right? He's smooth, but does he have substance? It's like, all right, let's not just devalue smooth, you know? Making a deal with a Middle Eastern dictator is not unlike getting in a girl's pants at an office party. You got to convince her none of the people she worked with are going to find out if she's going to follow you in the copy room. Come on. McCain ain't getting anybody in a copy room with that stiff-ass fighter pilot looking at his, I said, get in the fucking room, I said to you. You know, but and then all of the sort of repression, all that sexual repression, you can't say what you want to say, and it makes people act in ways that I can't relate to. You see that guy who got caught with an escort, right? He was a press secretary, so he got caught with an escort, and then because he wasn't allowed to admit that he was a sexual being, he told the press he wasn't hiring the escort for sex. He was hiring the escort for a massage. Really? Really? You hired an escort for a massage. You talk about overkill. That's like buying a movie theater because you like popcorn, you know? Why'd you buy that Cadillac? Because they got beautiful cup holders. That's why, man. It makes perfect sense. You know, and then you look at things, you look at the way it's structured. I was watching a documentary about how the government is connected to the FCC, right? And the FCC had a documentary, and they were talking about how they're trying to prevent the poisoning of the minds of the youth of America through images, right? You can't show titties. You can't say the F word, because this makes the kids crazy, apparently. And then you look at what the kids are really watching, right? MTV, Eliminate, 3 chicks in a hot tub arguing about who has the better ass. I felt like crying. And I jerked off instead, because one of the girls really had a nice ass. And then you turn like the next show after that was Pimp My Ride. You talk about the wrong priority structure for the children of America, or the world for that matter. Pimp My Ride is a show they're watching, and it's about a kid who has no money for school, right? He got no money for school, and on top of that, he got a fucked up car with no windshield. So he goes to the rapper that runs the show, and he says, hey, man, I'm a good kid. I study marine biology. I got no money for school, and on top of that, I got no windshield, you know. And he goes, could you pimp my ride? And the guy goes, yeah, sure enough, we gonna pimp your ride. Now, instead of taking the 30 grand and paying off the kid's school loan, they turned his whole Honda Civic into a fucking fish tank because the kid studies marine biology. Now he's got to show up for the job interview with a shark in the back seat because he got no money to feed the thing. And then he's talking about positivity. Then the dude that runs the show is talking about positivity. He had another rapper on. He said, hey, man, you're a positive brother. And he said, what are you doing? What are you doing for the hood? You know, what are you doing for the neighborhood? And the guy looked at the camera with a straight face. He goes, I started a business. He said, what kind of business? The guy said, no money down rims. Yeah, that's a tremendous help, man. That's a hell of a hand up. Malcolm X would be proud. No money down rims, huh? If you never want to make it out of whatever socioeconomic horror show you come from, borrow money you ain't got to buy some fucking rims you don't need. You know, those are nice rims, man. They better be. That's the reason I never went to school. I had a family or invested in some shit. You see the way they spin? You got $5? Be a better person? I want to reduce my carbon footprint. It's just that every time I look at a car, the better the gas mileage, the gayer looking the vehicle. You ever notice that? That Prius, that Toyota Prius. I was looking at one of those cars you cannot avoid looking like. It shouldn't even be called the Prius. It should be called the Toyota. I won't fight you no matter what you do to me. You almost feel like that when you get behind the wheel. You say, oh. Why do gay guys often look like they just smelled the cookies? Just did somebody make? No, you're gay, there's no cookies. We got no cookies, man. No, look, I've never understood, look, if you're gay, you're gay, right? You're attracted to guys, God bless, have a good time. I've just never understood the correlate between being drawn to men and this shit here. Just, how did the two connect, you know? There's only 3 components that could create that look in a straight guy. You would have to be feeling emotionally vulnerable, yet aggressive. You know, yet be in a bakery when they just pulled out a tray of muffins and you're like... Is that a fucking muffin, man? I'm like, that pisses straight guys off. That look, you don't even know. You guys aren't even aware, but it does. It makes straight guys angry. That's why they lost gay marriage. They only lost by 3%. Gay people in California would have been able to be married, lost by 3%. Because of straight guys. You know what I mean? Evangelicals and these people that are whacked out ideologically, you can't communicate with, right? So they're always going to vote no. And then you got a bunch of liberals and people like, you know, whatever, that vote, yeah. But the deciding 3% was straight guys that couldn't give a fuck. They got in the voting booth and it said, gay marriage, yes, no. And the straight guy thought of this shit here. And they're like, fuck him. You're out. And out. Nope. That's what happened, man. That's what I'm telling you, that look freaks straight guys out. Even me, man, I'm gay friendly. I love the gay man. I got into a cab with a gay dude. And he goes like this. He goes, where are you going? Like, another cab, brother, because you just freaked me out. But it's you know, but you know what that look is? This shit here, this is passion, man. It's passion. You may not want to think about it like that, but that's passion, that look. There's a and the other dude's My gay friend told me about a walrus. This is a passionate move. This is when there's one guy in the middle, and then two other guys come in. You got to deal with that image, young lady. That's a walrus. That's passion. I like pizza. I never grab 2 slices like you mother. That's a walrus. You know what I mean? That's a walrus. I can't stand it when people just don't fucking get it. It's like, I had this dude, I guess he was religious, I don't know. He goes, you know, being gay is a choice. Really, man? Is it a choice? It's a choice, huh? Could you imagine a straight guy looking at another naked man and being like, you know, I don't want any part of that, but I'm gonna make a choice. Come here. Come here, put it right here. This is a choice I'm making, man. I don't like this. It's not a choice, man. You know what I mean? But you've got to envy. You know what? If you're honest with yourself, I don't care how masculine you are, you got to envy the idea that these people speak each other's language in a way that we don't as heterosexual people. You just don't. Think about it, man. You meet a girl initially. You want to fuck her, she don't want to because she's a girl. You don't want to right away for the most part. That's the way it works, right? But with a gay guy, that's a meeting in a month. Being gay is like walking into a shoe store like, sir, do you have a size 10? And the guy's like, they're all size 10s. They're all size 10. It's like, they get it, man. They get it. Gay guys can say things to one another you didn't know you could just say. You're a masculine dude, you walking around. I'm telling you, gay guy can say shit to one another because they can just say it. I was at Crunch Fitness gym in Hollywood, right? And it's not even a gym, it's a gay bar with free weights and a treadmill. And I'm sitting next to this gay dude, right? He's watching someone across the room cleaning a curtain rod. Hear me out. Dude's cleaning a curtain rod, right? You know, you just say yes sometimes based on tone. Like you're on an elevator, somebody go, it's hot out there. And you be like, yeah, man. What are you gonna argue with? You're gonna be like, nah, for me this is temperate. No, fuck, you roll. You just say yes, you move on with your life. That's how we keep from shanking one another in a hallway. So I'm sitting next to this gay dude, right? And he's watching somebody across the room cleaning a curtain rod. And the dude turns to me like we're alone on an elevator. He said, He said, you see that guy over there cleaning that curtain rod, making me a little horny? I agreed with the dude, Adam. I literally heard myself go, yeah! And then the guy got that look like I had a pocket full of cookies. He was like... Long story short, I fucked him. Let that be a lesson to you. But I did it in a manly way. I was wearing boots. We went to pick up. I had a gun. It was a good time. Look, the point being... We're in L.A. We're in fucking L.A., huh? You know, L.A.'s a lovely place in many ways. You know, Hollywood's freaky, but there's lots of real people in L.A. You forget that, or at least people do coming from other places. But my first experience out here, I grew up in a junkyard in Jersey, you know, so you come from like a culture that it is what it is, you know, but... my first experience, I was trying to work, you know, and I got a little piece on a TV show, and I had to work with a stylist. And this woman wanted me to wear a pink shirt. And I was like, oh, man, that's not me. And she got all Hollywood. She goes, maybe you should get with it. Have you read Vogue? Pink is the new black. I was like, that's thinking for yourself. Like, if Vogue said that my balls were the new lollipop, would you... I'm not wearing the pink, lady. And then... my next experience, I leave there, right? And I walk into a coffee shop, and I just want to be alone and reconsider my choices in life. And I sit down, and I'm sitting next to this woman with the biggest fake titties I've ever seen in my life. This big, half-top, stuff written on the shirt. I can't help but look at them. She gets mad at me. She goes, what are you looking at? I'm like, huh? What am I looking? Woman, if I stuff a balloon in my pants and paint a bullseye on it, you might take a second fucking peekaboo. I'm looking at you, shotgun titty. What do you think I'm looking at? I said, why would you get them that big if you're so sensitive? You know, she's like, I did it for me. I was like, you buy an orthopedic pillow for you. You know, what are you talking about? I got my balls enlarged. They're 12.5 pounds a piece now, but I didn't know anybody else. It was all me. I like heavy nuts. I like them to swing like a lunch bag when I talk to Lou. Like you. What do you mean you did it for you? You know, and I got in an argument with her because I'm fascinated with her perspective. She makes this decision, gets angry with me for having the desired effect upon the decision that she made. I go, why the fuck are you angry with me? She goes, don't assume I want to be looked at. Hey. Wackarella. We assume things about each other every day, man. If I get dressed up like a large mouse, right? And I walk into Disneyland and some kid grabs his camera. He said, hey, Mickey. And I go, what the fuck made you assume I'm Mickey, man? That doesn't make me Mickey, you little animal. I'm not Mickey. That's sad, you know? It's really sad if you begin to think about it. It's sad. It's like, what level of kind of disconnect, like, how much love have you lacked from the time you were born to get to the point where you make decisions like that? I knew this porn lady, and by knew, I mean knew. And I asked her, you know, I'm interested in shit psychologically, you know? I said to her, I was like, how do you do this with your life, you know? And she was so lost. You know, there's people that can't differentiate between positive attention and negative attention. She was so lost. She goes, what's the difference between what I do and, you know, just seeing different guys? Where do we begin this? Well, first of all, what's the difference between rock candy and rock cocaine? What's the difference between a Hasidic Jew and a cowboy? They're both wearing hats. There's a big fucking difference. One of them deals with cattle. There's a big difference, man. I saw a picture of her with two dicks like this, smiling, like it was something that she caught in Montana with a homemade lure in a freshwater stream. How crazy must you be, you know? People are crazy, and it's like then you deal with somebody like, I feel like this self-awareness, if it's not a component of your life, you're gonna be so lost. It's like my friend sells weed to strippers, gives me advice on relationships, like the following. He goes, you can't trust women, they're all getting high. Do you think this has anything to do with the choices you've made in life, lunatic? What do you mean they're all getting high? How not self-aware is that? It's like you're the one getting them high. That's like lighting yourself on fire, right? And then being like, nobody turns the AC on in here anymore. Nobody turns the goddamn AC on, you know? And this is one of those guys that excuses his personality deficiencies by way of his horoscope. You know what I mean? He goes out, he gets high all the time, and I can't understand what he's saying. I go, Mike, I don't understand you. He goes, I was born in October, man. I'm a Libra. We're misunderstood. Oh, I thought it was because you were a high, mumbling idiot. But now that I realize that you were born in October, you know, no, it's tremendous logic. Then you're not going to mind that I banged your girl because I was born in September and she was under another moon that I can't really not fuck. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just, they're crazy, man. They're crazy, and they're trying to connect with people, especially here. It's difficult anywhere, right? But really trying to connect with somebody is so hard, man. The idea of a relationship is synonymous with the idea of compromise. You got to be able to say yes to shit you don't necessarily want to be a part of, right? You know what I mean? Like, being in a relationship, you got to be able to say, and I have such a hard time just saying yes, man. I was with this girl. Last time I said yes to somebody, to a girl that I didn't want to, I ended up in the middle of a lake in a two-person paddle boat. And I was like, And she's like, this is fun. I think I just heard a duck yell, faggot. It's so hard trying to figure it all out, man. I want to be able to do the right thing. You know, I don't understand women. I don't understand other guys half the time, you know, except a couple of lunatics in this room. But I don't understand most of the beers. Like, are there any women in the group here? Any women in the group? No group? Sometimes it's really difficult to communicate with women in a group. I don't know what happens. Maybe you guys can explain. Like, I feel like when women get in a group, there's often this like Black Hawk Down, psychological Navy SEAL, no man left behind kind of energy. And it's like, I'll be like, woman, can I talk to you over here? And she's like, I can't. And I'm with friends, you understand. It's like, you know, I don't understand. I'm with friends. I'll walk the fuck out of here right now. And I drove these guys. That guy left his asthma pump in my glove box. That's how committed I am to getting in between you and your friend. You see him? I was like, give me that. And then I feel like, also another thing I don't understand, like I walk into a bar and every chick in the joint under a certain age is snapping pictures of themselves. And I'm not talking about girls visiting from Europe. I'm talking about girls that live above the bar, sitting in the joint 6 days a week. I walk in, flashes, screams, and then you hear, Jennifer! And some chick spins around holding a bottle of beer like it's a winning lotto ticket, and she's like, Fucking relax. You just left work, not North Korea. Calm down. Gain some perspective, man. You know, it's just, you know, and then you deal with, like, even like Halloween, you know, I'm not talking about all women, I'm talking about some whacked out, specific, you know, especially in Hollywood, like, in Halloween, I don't know what they take that opportunity to dress with as little as possible and then call it an outfit. I saw this girl with red tape. I said, what are you? She goes, I'm a fireman. What kind of fire are you putting out, man? And then her friend was wearing yellow and black. And I go, what are you? And she goes, I'm a bumblebee, stupid. She goes, what'd you think I was? What's another word for whore? I don't know, man. What are you? You know, it's just, you're trying to find a link, you know, you try and find a way in, and then relationships in general are so maddening. You realize Van Gogh cut off his ear and sent it to his girl. That's how crazy it was. And you're thinking, oh, that's crazy. But if you've ever been in one of those relationships, you wonder how it doesn't happen more often. You know what I mean? Like, you ever think about that? A crime of passion passion is a legitimate defense strategy in a court of law in this country. Crime of passion, that means you did some shit you never otherwise would have done had it not been during the course of a relationship. Crime of passion, that means the prosecutor said to the defendant, did you or did you not kill your husband? And the woman was like, you know, he wouldn't shut the fuck up. You know? That's how difficult they are, man. I just wish, you know, and then you hear people go, my relationship is exciting. It's like, you know, a relationship's really exciting? I mean, you can be fulfilling, it can be wonderful, but anything you do every day ceases to be fucking exciting. You know what I mean? If I won a lottery every day for 10 days, I don't know if I'd be excited. My wife would come in a room like, we won, we hit the number, we gotta pick up the money. I'd be like, I'm watching TV. Can't you see that? We gotta get the money, take the limo. Limo's broken. Take the fucking helicopter. We hit the number 10 times, you know? I wish monogamy was not such an issue in these things. Like, you ever think about that? Monogamy is like, and it's some piece in here. It's not, you know, you ever see a cheetah chase down a rabbit for no reason? It could have just eaten. And he just goes, On some genetic level, I wish they had a pill, you know, like that antidepressant or that alcohol pill. You get sick if you get next to alcohol, if you want to stop drinking. If they had a monogamy pill that every time I looked at outside titties of my relationship for longer than 15 seconds, I get sick. Your friend's like, you're like, oh, motherfucker. Oh, they D-cups, You know what I mean? A monogamy pill, something to make it better, you know? I don't know. And then you hear people talk about sex addiction or something. I'm like, what is sex addiction? I asked the doctor, and the guy goes, he goes, sex addiction, you know, he goes, people will end up doing something that they don't want to do just for sex. Isn't that called the first date, man? Why else would I sit to a Sandra Bullock movie, only, you know, and pay for shit only to find out I have a better shot at fucking the Dalai Lama? Why would I do that? You know, if sex was the result of something I wanted to do, there'd be condoms all over my PlayStation. What are you talking about, man? Idea of a relationship, you know, I mean, I want it to be possible. I really do. I want it to be possible. You know, maybe part of it comes from family, you know? The inability to maintain a relationship is related to your ability to deal with people, you know? I just saw family. I don't know how to talk to these people. My cousin was here. We're driving down Santa Monica, and I had to explain to my 9-year-old cousin, we stopped at a light, and there's a transvestite prostitute standing there. And the dude looked in the car, a guy in a dress, and he said, and the kid looked up at me, he said, what's that? I ain't gonna lie to you, Billy. You saw the Transformers, right? You know how that truck turns into a robot? Well, imagine if it didn't really turn into a robot, just dressed up like one, and then blue guys in the back of Chevys on Santa Monica. Now deal with it, you little animal. That's the world we're living in. Kids aren't that smart. Kids aren't that smart. People are like, kids are so smart. Really? Why do they make vegetables in the shape of animals? You know, it's like, do you want this broccoli? It's a dinosaur. Kids aren't that bright, you know. You gotta love them. You gotta love them, otherwise they go up crazy. My father loved me, but he couldn't say it. You ever deal with one of those people? They can't say the words, I love you. They love you, but it always comes out in another way. You know, one time, this is how he told me he loved me. We were there, sitting there, and he goes, you know, I thought about having your mother killed. And then the I love you was next. There was a pause, and then he said, but I would never do that because of you and your brother. And then he waited for a thank you, like, oh, thanks, man. He was an odd bird, you know. And my father used to get high in the bathroom when I was a kid, and there'd be smoke pouring out under the door, and I'd knock on the door, and I'd say, Dad, are you okay? And he was so high, he'd respond with shit that had nothing to do with the question. You could hear him like, I'm in the garage. And then he would deny it was him. He'd like, it's not your father. Like, who's getting high in the bathroom / garage? My father's voice. It was strange dealing with somebody that makes it hard to communicate, to hear you or hear them. It's like, I'm half Jewish. My father was a Jewish guy, old school Jewish, not like do your taxes Jewish. He was like steal your car Jewish. It's different. And he couldn't tell me how much something costs. He could only tell me what else you could buy for what that thing costs. And it was the most confusing shit. It was almost an analogy competition within his own mind. I said, Dad, he got a car. I said, I'm 12 years old. I said, Dad, how much was that car? His response was, he goes, you could take a trip around the world for what that car costs. What am I, a fucking travel agent, man? I'm just asking you a question about the car. And then the analogies would get progressively more strange. He'd be like, you could get foot surgery and 5 acres of land in Arizona for what that car costs. Thank you, Riddler from the Batman movie. Could you just answer the fucking question so I can have a functional relationship 20 years from now? You know, and it's so strange growing up in an environment where you can't communicate with the people around you. My mother was a real hippie, but still raised me in this environment where you weren't allowed to do that. She would send me to school with pita bread, right? Pita bread with sprouts and a whole tomato. Looked like 70s porn. And I would sit down at the table, and all these real working class kids, you know, nobody, there was no education, real working class dudes, and they had never seen shit like this, you know? And they were all with the white squares, the white bread. I don't know a lot about racism, but I know that kids in Jersey will hate your guts because of the shape and color of bread. These little motherfuckers would move away from me, you know, and I would say, Ma, you gotta stop with this shit, man. And she would go, it's healthy. And I was like, is it healthy to be hated? Is it healthy to walk? Is that healthy? One day I'm gonna shoot one of these little scumbags, and the cops are gonna say to you, what happened to your son? And you're gonna have to say, he went crazy, but he had low cholesterol. You know, you gotta stop this shit, man. She thought health food fixed literal physical injury. I messed up my ankle one time. She goes, have this, it's carrot, it's fresh juice. I was like, if I get hit by a car, you're gonna tuck a granola bar in my pocket and be like, walk it off, man, that's granola. You're trying to grow up and communicate with these people, and she would do things that she thought were therapeutic. You know, she became an analyst, and then we had Thanksgiving after my father died. This was what she did. She put together a slideshow about my dead father set to jazz. It was so depressing. The turkey got up on its own, walked into the oven, turned it on, shut the door, like, get me the fuck out of here, man. This is awful. I'm just a turkey. I can't deal with this sort of depression. Depression's a funny thing, man. Depression. You ever been depressed and enraged at the same time? Just depressed and enraged. Like you're like thinking, I could kill somebody if they were really close to the couch, you know? That's how I get when I'm lied to, too, you know? I don't mind, like, just, you know, lie is one thing, but I can't stand those deep, hypocritical lies. You know, like, I get, like, I feel it inside when somebody's trying to run some fucking game. Like, even Columbus Day. I mean, you ever think about these holidays? Columbus, what is Columbus Day? What did Columbus do? He discovered America, right? How the fuck you discover something already had 7 million people in it? How's that a discovery? He discovered it for white people, right? But that doesn't make it a discovery. Did the first black guy who fucked a white girl run back to the village like, fella, you know they make this in white? This is my discovery, man. This is my discovery. Not a fucking discovery, you know what I mean? Even the way we look at the other parts of the world, you see this thing without compassion, you scumbag. I saw some stiff white senator. They're talking about the pirates. And he goes, this is an outrage. I can't believe what's going on. This is an outrage. It's like, look, man, you can't let people take your shit, but at the same time, recognize these people are fucking starving, right? And they're looking out at boats. And they got lots of shit on them. And they're slow. If I fill up a convertible full of expensive shopping bags and drive through the worst neighborhood in this country at 4 miles an hour, when somebody takes out a bag, I'm not gonna be like, this is a fucking outrage. What the hell's going on here? These people are taking my bags. This is an outrage. what are you talking about, man? You know, and then, like, I walk into an Indian casino, right? And you realize they grant the American Indian gaming permits as reparations for past wrongs. Just seemed like a funny way to say sorry, you know? It's like, hey, Indians, gather around. We've murdered almost all your people. We obliterated your culture. You don't know who you are. Most of you are alcoholics. Come here. Do you like blackjack? You guys are going to enjoy this. That's a roulette wheel, my friends. Forget all about the pain, you know? Don't you wish you could do that in your own life? Make reparations for past wrongs? Honey, I cheated and I was emotionally unavailable. I did get your liquor license and a deck of cards. Here's a tissue. Wipe off the tears. You know, do you ever feel like you're being lied to, man? Like you're just being fucking lied to. I was just in Times Square, and the guy's selling the fake designer, well, the watches and the pocketbooks and all that. They're selling this shit, right? Trying to make a living. And they're now arresting these guys for ripping people off. Ripping people off. I said to the cop, I was like, ripping people off. And he goes, officially, nobody's getting ripped off. Gucci lobbies Congress, says take this shit off the street because they're selling for 20 bucks, but we're really trying to rip people off for 900. You lying motherfuckers. Is anybody walking up to a West African dude with a FUBU t-shirt trying to make a living? You know, like, how much is that $25,000 watch? And the guy's like, what, this one? Give me 15 bucks. He's like, all right, but that better be fucking real, pal. It's a $15 watch. Works till 8 o'clock. You got your money's worth, you know? If you believe that's real, you're the kind of guy who walks into a whorehouse. She's like, come with me. You're like, this one likes me. This is not about money with me and her. This is just about us, you know? It's a fucking lie, man. It's a lie. And even you look at advertisements, right? You think about, you ever look at liquor bottles? I was drinking whiskey and I looked at the bottle and there was a crest, like you'd see in a castle against a bearskin rug over a fire, you know? A crest. And the next bottle, coat of arms. And then a crown on the other one. There's as if drinking this shit is gonna provide you with a more royal bearing. Like the cops are gonna pull you over and you'll be like, officer, there's no sense giving me a DUI. As you can see from the empty bottles in my passenger seat, I'm no peasant. Now walk away, constable. Walk away. I'm on my way to see my cousin, the Earl of Detroit. Move, sir. And hand me my gloves. Move my steed. I like to travel with a steed when I roll. But the point is, they're lying, you know? And then you turn on the news, you look at what's going on in the fucking world. You see, there was a story. Crane fell on a building. People died. Construction companies being investigated by the city. So the construction company issued a press release that said there's no sense investigating us because we're going to be conducting our own investigation. Oh, there's no conflict of interest there. Why can't an individual do that? Cops come up to my house, Mr. Davidoff, you're being investigated for a burglary. You know, officer, you can do that, but there's really no sense because I'm conducting an investigation into whether or not I committed that burglary. And if I find out I had anything to do with removing the shit from that lady's house, believe me, it's gonna come down on me harder than your people ever would. Now walk out the door. I've got this investigation under control, you know? You lying motherfucker. The point is, you know, it's like the whole, you know, and then you see the politicians, like these minds at work. It's like, are you a fucking robot? I saw Bush being interviewed about Iraq, and he goes, Iraq. He goes, it's good and it's bad. When people are dying, you can't go, oh, that's good and bad. There's something off, you know, and then you look at the rest of the news, and it's almost like they're trying to distract you from what's going on in the world. I was just in Afghanistan, right? We were doing shows for the troops, and people are dying over there. People are dying. And I got back here, and there's nothing on the news about the people that are dying, but they have 15 minutes on Lindsay Lohan got out of rehab. Shut the fuck up. What's the story? You know what I mean? What's the story? What is the story, man? It's a 22-year-old chick, drinks too much, acts like an idiot. What the fuck is the story? It'd be a better story if you could find me a 22-year-old girl with daddy issues, drinks too much, doesn't act like an idiot. I want to see that on Nightline. I want Matthew to come up to me like, did you see the story the other night? This girl, Brianna, did 15 Jell-O shots, decides to go back to school and not get a lower back tattoo. You got to see this fucking story. This is a story, man. Vanessa polished off a bottle of tequila, doesn't throw up in her own hair while crying about her ex-boyfriend while being fingered by that guy in the back of the room. That's a story. You know, and then on the bottom of the screen, it said, what's going on in Hollywood? Like, that's a worthy exploration of an idea. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's going on in Hollywood? What's going on in a place where people are behaving in shallow and excessive ways, in a place known for people behaving in shallow and excessive ways? What's up with that? And while we're asking the big questions, genius, what's up with cotton candy being sweet and winter being cold and strippers being more fun to look at than talk to? What's up with this? And speaking of strip clubs, I'm never going again. I'm not paying money to get turned on knowing I gotta leave, you know? Here's 20 bucks. Ah! That's like walking into a restaurant hungry and the waitress is like, ooh, you look hungry. Come here, you see this food? Now you can't take a bite out of this, but you give me 20 bucks for the rest of this song, I'm gonna rub this chicken all over you, man. You feel that chicken, baby? They're all lying, you know, and then you see those stories in the news that they're just taking up space because nobody's talking about what's really going on in the world. They had a 15-minute sleep study. Not a single thing, not even 30 seconds about what's going on, people dying. Nothing about starvation, nothing about genocide. They had time for a sleep study. Scientists got together, 15 minutes of airtime. They're talking about how if you don't get enough sleep, your ability to control your emotions is diminished. Fucking thank you, 24-hour news organization. What would I do without you? Hey, if you have any other breaking news, let me know. Like, what happens when you cut a hole in a rowboat? Does that make for a shorter trip? What about jumping off a roof? Is that not good on the ankle? What kind of story? What are you eating up airtime for? You know, it's just, there's something, and then the whole story, and then they had the, like, Virgin, right? The Virgin, she, on the internet, did you see that story? This Virgin goes and, she auctioned her virginity on the internet for $2 million. Some sucker, some guppy out there paid $2 million to take this girl's virginity. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I would, if I paid $2 million, I would just be like, first of all, you paid $2 million to hear a girl go, too deep, too deep, you know? I'd be like, really? Is it too deep? Well, hand me that bottle of Cialis and that meth pipe, because I didn't pay you for sex. I paid you to watch you realize you made a mistake. Look. I don't want to be that guy. You know that guy? Like, you ever been at a club and you see some dude, 60s, deep tan, open shirt, look in his eyes like he don't care that his kids don't talk to him anymore because he's been cheating, you know, for the last 20 what? It's like, I don't want to be that guy, you know? And I'm worried because I fucked up my relationship, you know, and I'm worried that was my defining moment. And I'm worried that 20 years from now, I'm going to see my ex on the other side of the street, and she's with her husband and kids, you know, and they're smiling, laughing, eating ice cream, and the sun is shining. And then, for some reason, I'm on this side of the street, you know, and it's dark, and there's rain pouring down my face, and I got an open silk shirt with a gold medallion, and she sees me trying to convince some stripper I know people with good coke. I don't want to be that guy, you know? And now I find myself in this position where I think I hate a little piece of myself, and I end up choosing. I'm not down on women. I'm down on some of the people I've chosen to be a part of. I went out with this actress, right? This narcissistic black hole of a human being that couldn't discuss anything outside of herself. She would say the universe is talking to her. You ever been with somebody like that? She would say the universe is talking to her. We were looking for parking on the holidays, right? She would say, she goes, we couldn't find it. So she goes, the universe is telling me we shouldn't even be here. I was like, really? Is the universe talking to you about a lack of meters at the mall? Is the universe telling, hey, is the universe telling you anything else right now? Like, next time we fuck, it's gonna be dog style because eye contact reminds me of your personality and renders my peace unusable? Did the universe tell you that? Because that's what the universe is telling me. I want out of that game, man. I want out. It's like, though, this relationship, and then I go out, right? So you're living in these clubs at night, and then I'm dealing with like that, and then I leave and I can't maintain. I end up like hanging out afterward, and I'm talking to some 21-year-old drunk girl, and on some level you want to fuck her, and they have a right to live. Just don't talk. Stop talking. You ever talk to a 21-year-old drunk girl with daddy issues? It's like there's a helicopter landing in the distance, and all I hear is and every now and then I make out a word like American Idol. And finally, she sees that look in my eyes, and she goes, "Are you too old for me?" I was like, "Woman, am I too old to put this in there? No. Am I too old to continue to pretend that this shit isn't taking a piece out of my fucking soul? Yeah, I'm Moses old for this shit, man." You know? And then we get back to my house, right? We get back to my house and we're fooling around, and she's got that push-pull borderline. I've never had a relationship with my father energy, and we're starting to do our thing, and she goes, "You know what? Why don't we just be friends?" I was like, "Woman, if you want to leave, you can leave. Don't say crazy shit like that." It's like, why would we be friends? First of all, you're wearing a lot of glitter, which means we see the world so differently. There's no place for us to meet in the middle which a friendship would occur. And second of all, what kind of random scenario? Why would we become friends? That's like me pulling into a gas station, and the guy's like, "We don't have any gas." And I'm like, "This ain't got to be about fuel with me, man. Come here. Come here, man. It's about me and you, baby. This ain't about gasoline." Stop it with this nonsense. Let's stop lying to each other, you know? And then she goes, "I think I know you from another life. Was I just trying to bang you then too, for Christ's sake?" I want to lead a better life. I want to be a better person, you know? But sometimes this world, and especially being alone, and you go on the road and you're in hotel rooms and you're doing this, and you already have some sort of psychological deficiency, otherwise you wouldn't be doing this for money in the first place. And sometimes things get dark, you know? I got into this situation with a transvestite. I've been alone. And look, first of all, easy with the judgment. A quality tranny in a dim light is not so easy to discern. What happened was, I meet this trans, I didn't know it at the time. Don't judge me. We met, we were drinking, we get across the street to my hotel, and it's still dim, you know? And so we start fooling around, and she goes down on me. And I flip the light on, because I like to look. And I realized it was a guy. And I was like, "Yo, finish up, man. Finish up. I'm going to be really angry in a few minutes. Finish this off now. We're here, for Christ's sake. I want out of the game. I can't satisfy a woman, man. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand anybody, but certainly with women, I feel like we're different, certainly, initially, in a sexual capacity. We're different, you know? We're different in lots of ways, but that especially. And I got in an argument with this lady. I said, "We're different." She goes, "No, we're not." And I said, "No, sexually, we're different." She goes, "The hell we are." I was like, "Woman, how do I explain this to you?" I was like, "You don't like me, right?" She goes, "No, I don't like you." I said, "You don't like any part about me. You're not attracted to me. You don't like me." She goes, "No, I don't." I said, "Well, basically, I feel the same way about you, and I'll fuck you right now." Just to prove a point. That's how different we are, girl. Even on a genetic level, it's like, look, if you're a woman, you gotta carry a baby, you gotta, it's 9 months, you gotta take care of it, you wanna know who the father is, and and then, and that's the way it should be, but at the same time, even little differences, right? And the guy has to go out and hunt for food. Now, it's not that way anymore, but genetically, it hasn't changed. I was looking for Bed Bath & Beyond with this girl for an hour, and I'm in the car for an hour, she goes, "Why won't you stop and ask for directions?" And it hit me. Because I never really want to fucking get there. I don't want to go, you know? The point is, I can't satisfy gentlemen, man, I was at this girl's house. I didn't have any condoms. She goes, that's okay. She hands me a Magnum condom. Magnum, you guys know Magnum? No, you don't, because the fucking package looks like a CD case. I said, thank you, Gina. If we go fly fishing, I could put this on, walk out into the river and catch us. And why would you hand me a garbage bag and expect me to be able to fill it? Are you out of your fucking mind? I have trouble with the condoms. My friend said try lambskin. They're really thin, they're good, and they are. What he didn't tell me is right when you begin to conduct business, the whole room smells like a gyro. Like that spinning meat, you know? And we were doing our thing. She goes, what's that? And I was like, I don't know, I'm getting hungry. By the way, never throw a tank top over a light bulb to create mood lighting, because they catch fire, they're very thin. I was doing my thing, you know, and she goes, I smell smoke. And my ego was like, yeah. And she said, the house is burning. I was like, you bet your ass this house is burning. She said, call the fire department. I was like, woo! Thank you, everybody, and I'll leave you on this. I feel like, you know, we're all walking through here, and what the fuck do I know? I mean, you know, cosmically, but at the same time, we gotta maintain some piece of ourselves in here. I just went through this experience. I guess it's about dignity on some level, regardless of what you gotta deal with. I was in love with this girl, right? Like love, you know, like love. And she was a PhD in literature, and I was thrown out of high school, right? And she would use quotes on me from authors that have been dead for 200 years. And it was really condescending, but I never realized, because I loved this motherfucker, and I thought I was learning something. And one day it all hit me. I'm in the car. She's an hour late. I said, woman, you're an hour late. And she hit me with one of them condescending quotes. She turned to me, she said, time and space are perceptible only to the human heart. James Joyce, 1888. My dignity kicked back in. I pulled the car over. So you gotta get the fuck out. Ike Turner, 1967. Thank you very much, everybody.
From the west, let me get this on my chest. I put the bass to the test. Oh, you know that I'm the best. Yo, you know.
More bass is my name, but much more bass by nature. You will never be the same once the baseline shakes you.
From the west, let me get this on my chest. I put the bass to the test. Oh, you know that